importantly, the training of our teachers, especially in-service teachers, those that have been undergoing educational courses through our colleges of education and so on and so forth, got assistance in this regard, and so we were able to improve on the mentoring aspect for our girl child in the state. In the governance aspect, the state and federal education actually did very well in terms of planning capabilities. We saw an increase, significant increase actually, in the long-term mentoring and sustainable projects, such as enhancing our school-based management committees at the level of schools, because each school is supposed to have one, and we're able to enhance their capacities in that regard through trainings, capacity buildings, and then ensuring that they are taking up their responsibilities in terms of management of schools. The ASC, which the Honorable Minister, mentioned yesterday, that we have to be very careful in terms of the data we are talking about. In this regard, actually, GIB 3 supported the states in ensuring that we have accurate data in our states, especially for Bauchi State. We're able to document our ASCs for the years that the project actually supported us. So we have up-to-date data. ASC's annual school census, so we're able to have that through the project. Success in terms of emergency response and resilience strategies. Bauchi State is one of these states that is quite safe in the northeast, and so we receive a lot of communities that are relocating from states where there are issues of insecurities and so on. So as a result of that, there is need for us to have conducive environment for those communities coming in and supporting the girls coming in to be integrated in our schools. And through that program, there was a lot of all those resilience, psychosocial supports that were given to the communities that actually came in. So as a result of that project, we're able to see tremendous achievement in terms of enrollment for the girl child, like I mentioned, enhancement in the mass education through integration of formal and non-formal education. I spoke about the mentorship, which we give to the in-service teachers, and many other issues in terms of governance, because we talk about transparency and accountability using the community structures to enhance on the management and governance part of it. And one key issue is that having realized those tremendous achievements in terms of increase in enrollment, there's a need to also broaden on the teacher, for instance, teachers' pupil ratio, classroom pupil ratio, because now we have more students in schools, more students for teachers to teach. And so it's one area that we would say it poses a challenge, because the project did not look at the infrastructure part of it. So we encourage for the enrollment, for the transition, for the completion, but we didn't look at the part for the infrastructure. So the government is actually doing a lot to ensure that we bridge that gap, we close that gap by creating more classrooms for the new for the new enrollments, and then to enable transition and completion, and ensuring that we are also complementing on the existing teachers, thereby having additional teachers, employment, training, and capacity building. So through many projects that we're doing, initiatives such as the Agile project, for instance, we have also recently the Global Partnership in Education. We have also, we have in the state also based the project. They are actually complementing on the existing tremendous achievement of the GIB project. Complementing on the formal and non-formal is best the project, which is actually also looking out at the enhancing access to education. And then the Girl Child project, Agile, is looking at how we can enhance the girl child enrollment, transition, and completion as well. Like I mentioned, the Global Partnership in Education is looking out at the governance part of it. At the state government level, we just concluded an education summit last year, and discussions were around the existing strategies, initiatives, and projects such as GAPE, and how the government will also complement efforts. We designed a roadmap, and we're implementing the roadmap. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, she deserves a round of applause. I think it's always important and very exciting to hear that when these projects are ongoing, the state government is also very mindful of the gap that will be created even whilst the project is still on. So yes, I hear you say, we've had as a program that gap where you start a project, laudable intervention, but then you do not foresee other attendant issues that will come as a result of the implementation of that project, increase in enrollment being one of them. I'll go to the Honorable Commissioner for Rivers State. First, let me say thank you to Rivers State. The reason why we're here in the room is because your state has graciously agreed to part fund this program, and so I think Rivers State deserves a round of applause. I hear in most southern states the complaint about donor-funded programs, whether in girl child education or other legacy education issues, going largely to the north. And I understand that a state like Rivers State is very committed to education. Of course, that's why you're supporting this. Would you like to share with us how the state is proactively, not just mobilizing resources to support education, but utilizing what it has internally to support the girl child education?
Okay, thank you. My governor is very proactive. He has prioritized education in the state. We try to, for him, he works around with available resources to see how it can be applied and we achieve results. When we came in, we decided based on his plan for education. We had a roadmap done, an inclusive one, very inclusive roadmap on education. And then from there we did a need assessment to know which areas we could put our resources on. Especially, had a lot of infrastructure deficit. The teacher-student ratio also very, very high. They have low teacher availability, especially in the rural areas. So all these areas he decided to make important input in bringing about building new structures, also making sure that there are furnitures available and teachers are sent back to the rural areas, because most of the teachers want to be in the urban area because they feel that the rural areas are unsafe and there are no facilities to enable them remain there. So those dynamics, those scenarios are changing. What he has done is to also, based on the budget available, to domesticate the State School Initiative as a program to see how we can deal with the issue of bringing community to participate in education delivery. That inclusiveness is so that because when you keep a school in a community, the community should own the school. And that way, they can also make sure that the school is looked after and that whatever that happens to that school, they are also held responsible. So they guarantee safety, they guarantee security, and also guarantee campaign that make children, especially the girl child, because we try to explain to them that the girl child education is very important because of the integrity of the family. Without a well-educated woman, it's difficult to raise a great family that will be able to face tomorrow, which is very important, especially in parenting. But that's all the nucleus about the problem we're having today in the country, all over the world. Because most families, the children are raised by illiterate women. Women who don't know anything, the modern challenges of raising children, and then you allow this responsibility to be on them. And then the men are busy running around looking for money, while the woman is at home, and she cannot take that decision, or is not equipped to raise children to meet modern challenges. So there is need for us to train our women, invest in it, so that we can have a better future for this country, for this nation. And so he has come, we are trying to see the resources we have to see how we can invest around that, bringing the community into it, and making sure that with our Safe School initiative, we're able to protect especially the women in terms from harassment, bullying, and also see how we can raise their economic status of the women in the rural areas to be able to send their children to school. And not only that, we're also looking at the situation, menstrual health is important. Most times, women don't come to school, the girls, because of menstrual health issue. So we're also, partnering with NGOs. Actually, we are collaborating with a lot of NGOs to make sure that NGOs on education, to make sure that they partner with us, come with us to see how they can support us. We are not looking for their money, but what we are looking for, whatever they know that they can bring on board to make sure we deliver quality education in our state. So with the little resources we have, we are seeing how we want to look at how we use them to see how we drive education in our state. And right now, as we are going forward, in the budget is about to be doubled on education in our state in order to meet up with all that the governor wants to do. So we have a lot we want to do. I think in the coming days, a lot of people will hear about River State. River State want to export education. River State want to support the family, train their children, especially the girl child. And that's why when a request was made for support, my governor did not waste time, because he's very interested in the girl child, to be educated, very, very interested. And so we are ready. We are ready for Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's good to hear about the amazing things that River State is doing. I'll very quickly go to the commissioner from Enugu State. I know that in the Southeast generally, it is assumed that education for the girl child is not as much a concern as that of the boy child. Of course, in the north, the stats says different. So you may not have as much of a challenge in that regard, even though there are modern challenges. When we talk about education for the girl child, it's not just academic empowerment, it's also socio-emotional support that the girl child needs because of the uniqueness of the girl child, to encourage and to ensure that they're able to meet their developmental milestones, including education. So it will just be good to share with us, what is Enugu State doing specifically, if there are any innovative interventions that other states can learn from that you're currently implementing, targeted at the girl child to further strengthen not just their educational performance, but generally supporting them socio-emotionally to achieve their milestones.
Thank you. So in Enugu State, our governor took a holistic and bold view of the problem. Holistic in the sense that there was enormous research data, localized data for Enugu State to understand, what is our out of school problem, which is an MSG issue. But beyond that, what is the SDG issue when it comes to the quality of education that children who are actually in school receive, and how that quality of education delivery could ensure completion, could ensure economic empowerment after graduation, could ensure transition to senior secondary and tertiary in ways that continue to take into account gender inclusivity, but also disability inclusion and other issues. That and also research on the learning crisis, numeracy, literacy deficiencies. The intervention that Enugu State has embarked on is one that has prioritized education above all else. It's one that has seen the state dedicating 33% of its budget to education. It's one that has seen a bold embrace of a disruptive innovation using smart green schools as the model to deliver universal basic education. And this means, in effect, that Enugu State is implementing all of those national policies on education. The Beck Act from 2004, domesticated in 2005, required that states should disaggregate, that's what my colleague mentioned earlier. It meant that we had to move just 1 to 3 out of secondary schools and merge them with primary. But the UNICEF study have also shown that the greatest point of intervention for numeracy and literacy is the development of early childhood education. So the model for Enugu State is not a 9-year basic education, but a 12-year basic education that begins from nursery 1 to 3, primary 1 to 6, and just 1 to 3 in a inclusive, safe learning environment. And that is the Smart Green School. And what then enables us to meet all of those quality education deliveries are our experiential learning curriculum and pedagogy. It means that in every smart school you have 840 children, but 40 teachers who have to teach them across the basic education subject areas. So these are investments in skill development, entrepreneurial education, STEAM, right, basic numeracy and literacy, ensuring that you have wash facilities. Right. So,
all right, thank you. I think I'd have to stop you. Unfortunately, the organizers have not done justice to this panel because we were given 30 minutes and it's not even 30 minutes yet. But I understand that there is need to move on very quickly to other things, and perhaps there are dignitaries in the room that would have to move to other assignments today. So I'll crave your indulgence that we have to end the panel at this time, respectfully. But just to commend what the various states represented here are doing, and hoping that there will be other platforms where we can share more knowledge about what we're doing and more collaboratively work together to enhance the successes from those various interventions. Thank you very much, and thank you to the audience.
Thank you very much. Let's make it louder for the panel session. You can come. Is the photographer here, so you take a picture together? Thank you very much. We want to acknowledge the presence of the Governor of Kano State, His Excellency Abba Kabir Yusuf, ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Higher Education, Kano State, Dr. Yusuf Ibrahim Pofamata. You're welcome, sir. We are getting to the high point of today's event, which is the unveiling of the Girl Child Education Ambassadors and Girl Child Education Volunteer Advocates. But before we do that, we are going to take a very short presentation of the Education Expenditure and Institutional Review Reports for the states. This is a very important presentation, and we're going to be taking that very quickly. Join me to welcome David Nabena, the IGR lead consultant from Nigeria Governors Forum, for this presentation.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my time for this presentation has been significantly cut, so I'll just quickly run through the presentation. The reports are here for your use. First of all, I'd like to introduce a program that NGF kickstarted last year. It's called the Sector Expenditure and Institutional Reviews. Around this time last year, October, the purpose exactly is to link some of our public finance reforms to service delivery, particularly around education, agriculture, and healthcare. The purpose of the program as well is to introduce new evidence to support the work of dialogues like this, and obviously policy interventions by state governments. I had a long presentation, but I'll cut most of the slides. Data has already been provided showing the numbers around out-of-school children, but I think what's also important is the number of schools and the number of students enrolled at the early, junior, and primary school level. That's about 47 million in Nigeria. That's 5 times the population of Israel. Also want to highlight the link between education outcomes and poverty in Nigeria. 63% of Nigerians are considered multidimensionally poor, but amongst those who are out of school, 94% are multidimensionally poor. So if you are out of school, the likelihood that you'll be poor is as high as 94%. And we also know numbers from the World Bank. Nigeria is a resource-rich country. We also have a lot of arable land, but when we put that all together, it still falls short of the potentials of our human capital. So I think enough has been said on that, and there's enough evidence for that. What the ER answers are really 3 questions. How are budgets being made at the state level? How efficient are they? How are they linked with policy? Those are some of the questions that this report answers. We also look at the institutional arrangements and, of course, coordination between the 3 tiers of government, the federal, states, and local governments. Our priority for this report was really on actual, what state governments spent rather than what they said they would spend. So in some of the graphs, you would see the numbers reeled out. Those are 2022 figures based on what states have actually spent rather than what they say they would spend. And the reason for this is because budget performance is obviously a big issue in Nigeria. For education spending is around 70%. So that means if states say they would spend about 100 billion, they end up spending 70 eventually. And when we look at the numbers, it's about 1 trillion that all 36 states government spend. The average per state is 28 billion. But of course, there are huge variations. There are states that spend a lot more: Lagos, Rivers, Kaduna, and Jigawa. Most of them all rich states. Jigawa there, obviously, because they capture local government payments for primary school teachers in their budget. That's why they are amongst the top. But what we see, richer states spend more on education. So if we go to the next slide as well, we see some states really do well around budget performance. Nasarawa, Kwara, 100% budget performance. The average for states, I mentioned earlier, 70%. And how much do states budget for education? The average is around 12%. But we know some states that are doing above the UNESCO threshold. Jigawa, Borno, Nasarawa, they spend about 30% of their expenditure on education. And where do these monies go to? Recurrent versus capital. Capital takes about 30%, recurrent 70%. That means states are prioritizing salaries and bailouts, benefits for teachers, administration, and provision of learning materials for students. This isn't far-fetched given the limited fiscal headrooms, so states have to prioritize short-term needs versus long-term infrastructure needs. And which level of education do states fund most? tertiary education. States spend about 37% of their budgets on tertiary educations for state universities, polytechnics, and colleges. A few states spend a lot more on primary education. Borno, Bauchi, Jigawa, and Kebbi. I highlighted earlier why Jigawa is on that list, because it captures payments for salaries of its teachers at the primary level. Now, when we look at sector planning, the development plans multi-year sector strategies for education. About 17 states say they have one. Not all states have a plan for education, a multi-year plan, which is a widespread. It links the state development plan, the MTSS, and the budget. 17 states versus about 18 who do not. So sector planning is still work in progress. When we look at external funding for education and the role it plays in fiscal stability at that level, the UBA program, the UB, TET fund, they also contribute about 80% of external funding. 20% of the total expenditure, 1 trillion that states spend, is sourced from aid, grants, and loans. And like I mentioned earlier, 80% of that comes from the UBE program and TET fund. I just brought in this slide here because of this program. And you would see that there's a lot of progress going on at the state level in terms of how budgets are presented, how budgets are also reported. Now you can find a line item on how much states spend on girls or boy child education, starting from the budgets of 2014. So for 2015, 2024, 2025, you'll be able to tell exactly how much states are spending on girl child education, which I think is very worthwhile for this event. If we go to educational outcomes, not just the outcomes, but spending drivers. If we look at the UBE numbers, enrollment is higher in states like Kano, Katsina, and Kaduna, but we'll also see high dropouts as well for those states. Obviously, because high enrollment means a strain on schools and the demand for higher spending. And when governments are unable to provide those needs, it would lead to high dropouts as well. So we see some link between states that have high enrollment and the dropout rates as well. On security and educational attainment, here also we see huge links between high security and dropouts, and we see Kano, we see Kaduna, Benue, and Zamfara coming out on top because of some of the attacks that have happened. The risk of that is school apathy and obviously increased demands and increased likelihood of children being out of school. When we also look at the distribution of schools at the state level, primary versus public versus private, we see a number of states depend highly on public schools versus private schools. Obviously, when we have more public schools, there's increased demand for government spending versus the other, but there's also more enrollees in public school, increased pressure for government spending, reliance on private schools for the number of schools for the states at the bottom of the graph. So there's an implication of the distribution of public and private schools as we see. The next slide shows the state of infrastructure at the junior school level and the early childhood education level. Now we also see a correlation between high expenditure and the state of infrastructure. So states like Lagos, Ogun, and Rivers, and FCT, they are at the top in terms of the provision of infrastructure. Ekiti actually comes out on top, although it doesn't have as much fiscal headrooms as the other richer states. When we look at gross enrollment rates and teacher ratio, obviously gross enrollment rate means increased demand for teachers who would provide those services for the students, and where more teachers are needed, increased spending, and obviously increased spending would mean increased salaries, wages, and increased recurrent expenditure. All of the numbers and the figures are in this report, so I'll just quickly run through them. If we look at the UBE program and TET fund, how they are faring, we'll see some disruptions in terms of UBE funding. Since 2020, we've seen a significant drop in those flows, and it's affecting basic education. That volatility is limited when we look at TET fund. And when we also look at the size of the portfolio of funding from UBE, about 660 billion versus TET fund that has raised up to 2.1 trillion. I've put this slide here, but I think I'll skip this and we can refer them to the report. Some key messages I think are useful before I close. I think what we found out from the report is the financing and management of basic education has been a multi-government role shared across the 3 tiers of government. The federal government funds through the UBE program, while states and local government funds through their budgets. But we see this financial interdependence is creating issues around accountability, reporting for education programs and for outcomes. The second issue we've noticed is the 2-tiered system of education administration, where the federal government manages federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges. States do so for institutions at that level. But we see that funding for education, allocation of resources, creates a system where the quality of education you get is based on where you live. So we see that as a major challenge, where there is differentiation in the quality of education based on what the governments are spending. Some key responses, this is the final slide, some key responses. One would be to improve budget implementation, which is really a no-brainer. And doing that alone means about 500 billion increase in education spending, policy-based resource allocation through a medium-term sector strategy, and development plan, of course. Equity and equality in education opportunities for all. So addressing issues around insecurity, including school attacks, high interstate migration, apathy of teachers to teach in rural areas. Those are some of the issues to resolve to help ensure equity and equality in education. Data-driven decision-making to build capacity of the ministries of education to prioritize activities based on impacts and outcomes. Then the last of all, local education governance. Given the autonomy given to local governments, they would need sufficient support to build their public financial management skills to ensure that they're able to use funds that they have to drive education outcomes at that level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I loved it when you spoke about education. And I just wanted to say that when the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, announced that every disadvantaged, indigent Nigerian student will have access to education through NEL Fund, some of us were very happy. We said our El Dorado has come. Indeed, we are grateful for the NEL Fund loan. Student Loan Initiative is established by the federal government to break the financial barriers in higher education. It's interest-free loans that I believe will fundamentally reshape the educational landscape. And I'm being told again that the percentage of female students that have applied for the NEL Fund loan is very small in comparison to the male student. And it is an opportunity. Anytime I have an opportunity, I appeal to parents, I appeal to guardians to please ensure that your female students, girls, benefit from the NEL Fund loan. Please let us do everything we can to ensure that they apply for the NEL Fund loan. And then the highlights of today. We're about to get into the highlights of today. Very soon we will be unveiling the Girl Child Education Ambassadors and the Girl Child Education Volunteers Advocates. But we'd like to take remarks of our special guest who are here. As I mentioned earlier, if you are seated in this hall, you have been carefully selected. You have been carefully requested to come here because your voice matters, because we all have a duty to reshape the life of every Nigerian girl through education. Once again, we thank the Nigeria Governors Forum for putting this together. And of course, we thank all the sponsors. I would like to call on Her Excellency Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdul-Razak, the First Lady of Kwara State and Chairperson, Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum. In her private and public life, she supports girl child, she supports women, and as I said, I think she deserves another ovation before she comes to the microphone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I was here to listen in on this, on the panel session and the presentation. I think it's given us all, a little bit more statistics and, on what is going on in the States on girl-child education. And I want to commend the Nigeria Governors Forum for convening this event. I think it is important on today, the International Day of the Girl Child. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to recognize His Excellency Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, Chair, Nigeria Governors Forum, and Governor of Kwara State, my dear husband, ably represented here by Dr. Abdulatif Shitu, Director General of the Nigeria Governors Forum, the Rivers State Governor, His Excellency Siminalaye Fubara, represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Dr. Ovi Chukuma, the Enugu State Governor, His Excellency Dr. Peter Mba, represented by the Honorable Commissioner, Gender Affairs, Ngozi Eni, the Governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by Honorable Jamiu Tolani Ali Balogun, the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, represented by the Mandate Secretary, FCT Women Affairs, Honorable Dayo Benjamin Lani, the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Mrs. Uju Kennedy Ohaneye. I think I heard that the Kano State Governor is also being represented here today. Is it by the Commissioner for Education? I think I heard that. The Director General NYSC, represented by Mrs. Mercy Bamai, Deputy Director Community Development. All Commissioners of Education here present. I think I saw the Commissioner for Education, Kwara State. I'm being partial. Welcome. So today, I'm here just to give you a few remarks, and I'm very happy to share International Day of the Girl Child with you. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be part of this international conference on girl child education in Nigeria. I commend the proprietary of this conference by the Nigeria Governors Forum, as today also marks the International Day of the Girl Child, and as such convening to chart courses that will improve their education and by extension their well-being and inclusivity is indeed laudable. The right of Nigeria's girl child to education, you will agree with me, is a matter of obligation and moral imperative, which drives to explicitly challenge bias and discrimination in the society and seeks to identify critical gender disparities and address the underlying factors that contribute to those disparities that mitigate against the right of the girl child to qualitative education. While there has been significant progress in improving girl child access to education over the years, many girls, particularly the most marginalized, continue to be deprived of this basic right. Today's conference, however, hinges us closer to achieving SDG 4 and also provides the platform to address systemic barriers that hinder the implementation of an effective education strategy without being region or state specific. Beyond basic education, however, targeted investments are required to improve the quality and effectiveness of technical, vocational education and training for adolescent girls and young women, as this provides girls with the skills and capabilities for decent work and therefore helps to ensure a smooth transition into employment and entrepreneurship. I think it was in the last panel where they spoke about skills acquisition programs and how maybe impactful they may be or not. I stand here to tell you that, the skills acquisition programs are quite impactful. We've brought about changes. The Nigeria Governor Spouses Forum, I'm sure you're aware that most of us, we do this to a lot of our girls. And we are very happy with the results. They don't come back to us to complain. Those that have gone out into bakery and confectionery, makeup and makeover, drone precision farming, and all these other things that we've trained them in are actually making a good living from this endeavors. And we're very happy with the results. It is in this regard that I commend the Nigeria Governors Forum and all partners involved in putting together this very remarkable event to recommit to promoting the right of the Nigerian girl to education and supporting ventures that engenders equality for an all-inclusive and sustainable development. Excellencies, distinguished guests, our shared commitment to prioritizing strong and continued investments in girls at all levels of the education system, as displayed at this conference, should be sustained, as promoting the realization of girls' right to safe, inclusive, and gender-responsive education is essential to future prosperity, gender equality, and to put an end to the intergenerational cycle of poverty. When effectively supported during their adolescent years, you will agree with me that girls have the potential to change the world, both as the empowered girls of today and as tomorrow's workers, mothers, entrepreneurs, mentors, household heads, as well as political leaders. Because I think it was, something that I heard here about how we must make sure that girls know that they can aspire to anything. It's not right when, we have gender-specific, courses for the different sexes. It's important that in the 21st century, they must know that they can strive to become anything that they want to be. So we want to see a lot more political leaders. I'm coming from New York, from the United Nations General Assembly in the last 1 week or so. And we saw, I don't know if you all followed it, whereby only 9 speakers of the over 100 speakers at the UNGA were female. I mean, this just shows you that, we really need to work harder in making female leaders. And yesterday at an event, I met the female former president of Kosovo, the first female president of Kosovo. And she told me that in 2011, during their own UNGA, there were 19 women leaders who spoke. So, we must not see a downward trend. So from 19 in 2011 to 9 in 2024, we're not happy about that at all. So I'm very happy at today's conference, and may we see Nigerian leaders go to represent us very soon. It may interest you to know that more than 60% of the out-of-school children in Nigeria are girls. Hence, it is my sincere belief that outcomes from today's conference will present us with clear, targeted, and state-specific strategies that will further ensure that we reduce the rate of out-of-school children and enhance retention, transition, and completion. For us at the Nigeria Governor Spouses Forum, we remain committed to continue to promote these ideals to support the most indigent in our respective states through the provision of scholarships, engaging in healthcare outreaches, promoting education among children, advocate against gender-based violence and other such societal ills, and the empowerment of women and youths to complement the efforts of our spouses, the state governors. As you may be aware, in Kwara State, let me go home and tell you what we're doing there. Education stands as one of the main priorities of the state government under the leadership of His Excellency Malam Abdurrahman Abdurazak, and through the Leading Education Achievement and Reform Now, Kwara Learn initiative of the government, it has redefined education and learning in the state while also engendering women and youth inclusivity in governance. You may be aware that in Kwara we have the youngest female House of Assembly member in the country and other such, and other such female inclusive things. I think the compare already mentioned, the 56% that we had in the past are now 50-50 across the state government. My office and the Ajike People Support Center also are promoting science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, STEAM, among school children and promoting skills acquisition as a means of empowerment among women and youth in the state. Apart from our other advocacies, we have also empowered women and youth. We also provide incentives like sandals, school bags, and other schooling materials to endear children, particularly girls, to enrolling and staying in school. You don't know what it is when a child has sandals. Some children will stay away from school because they don't have sandals or bags, because they're laughed at in school. So when you provide these things, it really helps. Another thing I'm going to mention here is what we do when we talk about female hygiene products as well. And in your respective states, it's important to look at this because this constitutes a major reason why girls stay out of school as well, the lack of female hygiene products. So if you can provide them with these products, you will see that there will be higher retention of girls in schools. I think this is a very important take back. Going forward, I enjoin all stakeholders on continued support as investment in the education of the girl child upholds their rights today and promises a more equitable and prosperous future, one in which half of humanity is an equal partner in solving the problems of our world. Together, let's continue to work to empower communities and raise awareness to protect the rights of girls by supporting initiatives such as this and engaging in dialogue to create a future where every girl can be safe, can learn, can thrive, and determine their own future. Let's stand united, championing equality, safeguarding childhoods, and ensuring that every girl potential is nurtured. On this note, I want to thank all the he for she's that stand with all the girls on my own part. On my own part, I mean, I keep saying it everywhere. My father was a great he for she. There's nothing I wanted to do that was too big for me. And that was why I have all the degrees that I have. For those of you that know, I have several degrees, and he encouraged me to stay in school. And along came my husband, another gender-friendly man, who continued along that line, and there's nothing I want to do that is too big or that he would say, no, I don't think you should do that. He continues to encourage me. So we want to thank the he for she's that continue to encourage every girl and every woman to thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency. Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdulrazak, First Lady, Kwara State, and Chairperson, Nigeria Governor Spouses Forum. Thank you for acknowledging the men in our lives. Thank you, our fathers, our husbands, our brothers, our sons, our uncles. We thank you, every man represented here. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'd like to recognize the Royal Highness Hawa Ibrahim Adamu. She is the wife of the Anna of Abaji and president of Wives of FCT Traditional Rulers Association. Madam, thank you very much for giving voices to wives of traditional rulers and women at the grassroots level. Thank you very much. So, at 8 p.m., we have something specially designed for every one of us here. There's going to be dinner at 8 p.m. Everybody is invited to join us at the exclusive Serene Hotel in Wuye. Everybody is invited. So the reason why we have gathered in the last 2 days is because of today. Today, Friday, 11th of October, is International Day of the Girl Child. And the girl's vision for the future is being realized by Nigerian Governors Forum. We're grateful to you again for this. At this point in time, every girl that is in this hall, I'd like to have you up here. I'd like to have you here. If you are a girl or you're representing the girls, please come here because it's your day today. It's your special day because the most passionate minister on women and girls affairs matter wants to address you. So I need you all up here. All girls, quickly, swiftly, as I call on the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Mrs. Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, who will be addressing. I want you all here. Don't be scared. Come. Let everybody see you. All of you. I need you to stay here so that you can face your Honorable Minister. You want them to come with you. Please come up. She wants you to come up here. I told you she's the most passionate minister that we have when it comes to matters of women and girls in Nigeria. Excellency, thank you very much. Thank you. Can you all stand? Thank you. Thank you. So all of you,
don't stay far away from me. Did you hear me? Stay around. Where is that tiny baby? Baby, come and shake me. See where the camera can get you. Dignity. No, the ones that are shorter should go to the fore. Baby, come this side. Come this side. The tall ones are here. My dear, she can't cover them.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the stand now.
Okay, the stand. Okay. Eh? Thank you, everyone. I'm so sorry if I've taken your time a little bit. Forgive me. I know you will say she's always saying, forgive me. I will continue saying, forgive me. Thank you. Her Excellency, the First Lady of Kwara State, the DG of Governors Forum, I hereby plead to stand on the existing protocols. Please. Thank you, everyone. My children, I salute all of you. I greet you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, the First Lady. Thank you to the Governor of Kwara State. Thank you to Governors Forum. I don't know how to express how I feel concerning what they have done for women and children. Because we talk about out-of-school children, girls that are not being educated. But there's one particular reason why it's not happening. I'm sure if you note You can't find any rich man, the child or the girl child is not in school. Or any parents rich that their child marry early, the early marriages, all the issues we have concerning these innocent young babies is because of poverty. So that's why I have been hammering. We find a way to empower their mothers, give them voices, and most of these issues will be settled. I am not the kind that I talk and I stand and wait. There is no time. People have suffered more than enough. And maybe not, Nigeria may not have the opportunity we have right now, where for the first time we have a president who supports even the stubborn ones to pursue the rights of others. He will support you. Where we have a governors forum chairman who equally is so passionate about how Nigeria will become the best. You know, the wife who is equally the chairperson of governors' spouses is equally very passionate. I don't think we can miss this opportunity. I'm sure Nigerians are listening to me. Are we here? It's a great opportunity. I keep saying it. If not, somebody like me would have been in Kirikiri by now. Because I too, they do. They will just carry me, bundle me, wrap me up, and throw me. They won't even allow you to know that I'm there. I'll just stay there and rot for nothing. So I thank God for everything. But the narratives I'm talking about for us to change is how the women can be empowered. Everything that is happening in this country, insecurity, lack of food, children suffering, spouses suffering, is all boiled down to the same thing. Empowerment is the tree. All the other problems are the branches. Let us focus and feed the tree so that the tree will be healthy enough to provide food for the branches. That's why I'm talking about empowerment. Not that I'm forgetting about others, but that empowerment will lead to, to us solving the others. On the 15th, which is on Tuesday, we are trying to raise money, forge ahead with all the support Governors Forum has given to us, President has given to us, governors' spouses have given to us, so that we can move to make these things I'm talking about happen. And these innocent children will stop suffering. Some of them are not in school. They are hawking groundnuts. They are selling corn on the streets. Simply because probably their mothers are lazy, or they don't even have anything. The mothers cannot afford for them to go to school. And in some homes, you see their fathers say, the women are not important. Why must they go to school? Let me focus on the men. And when their mothers don't have money, she doesn't have a voice to defend those girls. So if we love our country, and we want our country to forge ahead and have peace, we must empower the women. Any woman you have empowered, you are empowering the nation. And you are helping these innocent children. Look at their faces. Just check them out. Look at them. Can I get a smile? Let's smile. You know I love you guys. I swear from my heart, I love them. Seriously. And I'm ready to fight for them. That's why I'm fighting for their mothers to be empowered. That's why I'm fighting for the monies meant to empower the women to stop being diverted. It will stop. I have the support of those powerful people that are equally very passionate. Some of them may not come out to say it, like one of them here. She may not come out. I'm talking about you, Her Excellency. She won't come out to say it, but she's a huge supporter of women and making sure that women get empowered because she has passion for these little children. Let us come together and do the needed. Let us come together, empower women, save them, and then save our nation so that insecurity will come to an end. So many young boys there, young girls, they are going into all sorts of things because their parents are suffering, especially their mothers. Some of them can't afford any money to go to hospital. They watch their mothers die before them because of lack of money. Let us follow up on making sure hospitals don't lock out our people during emergency. Sometimes the emergency rooms are empty. They will lie to you that it is filled up. We cannot achieve any of these things without coming together to say no to it and change our mindset. We don't need anybody to change our mindset. But the mobile court is starting, or it's coming. Please, if you think you can't change your mindset, mobile court will use that hammer they hit on the table. Hit it on your head, and your mindset, your mind will change and reset automatically. Because not changing your mindset is cunningness, mischief, and wickedness. Because those men being pedophiles and all sorts of things, they know what they're doing. They won't allow somebody to do it to their children. So you can't tell me it's mindset. We should stop lying to ourselves. Come and focus and do the needed and put an end to the problems of Nigerians. It's only we that can save ourselves. But when somebody is trying to talk and some few people will start saying, simply because you're not benefiting enough or she's blocking where you're benefiting, you condemn that person. Condemn me. If I come for you to vote for me tomorrow, don't vote for me if you're not satisfied with how I behave. And if I lose the election any time in future, I will go home happily. I won't complain. For me to ever be elected, I want to be elected on merit. If not, let me go home. I don't mind, really. But this time I have this opportunity. Nobody can take it away from me. I must focus and achieve something tangible that will last. Not the kind, after I'm done, I will go home, the next day somebody will just come and scatter it. I will not allow that. That's why I'm forming some groups that you will know about after Tuesday. Those groups will continue fighting and standing where I'm standing until I'm old and I'm dead. It will stop. That's why I'm calling anything you want to do for women, let it be for women, Nigerian women affairs, not ministry. I know I'm working for the ministry, but I know what I'm saying, and some of you know what I'm saying. Let us help Nigerian women, not Ministry of Women Affairs, so that nobody can tamper with what belongs to women. Because from now on, you tamper with what belongs to women or you divert it, we will carry the mobile court and pursue you everywhere until we get you. Sorry, I always talk like this, but the level, the ground, no level at all. We must have to level the ground. I love all of you. If you will believe me. Thank you, everyone. My children, what can I do for you? What can I want to protect you. Because when I start picking the children that are hawking on the street, don't call me bad name. No, though I won't care much, don't call me bad name. I want to use picking those children to be able to assess their parents, their mothers, so that I can help them. If I don't do that, the monies for helping the poor will continue going to the rich, which has been the problem we have here. I will pick them. After 15th, I'll start picking children on the street, beggars. I will pick all of them. I know where to calm them, feed them, and their mothers come. When they come, I will empower them, take their data, that if I catch them again, another thing will be a story. I beg all of you, please. Let us all come together and do same. You see where they're hawking, let me know. Send message to the Ministry of Women Affairs. Thank you, everyone. Let's empower them, the right people, so that we'll solve our problems. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you're happy and you know, clap your hands. Say Tinubu, Tinubu, jump up, jump up, jump up. Now we're jumping. See, an old woman is jumping. Thank you, everyone. Love you all.
Thank you very much. We told you, I warned you that she's passionate when it comes to women and children, and she just showed you her passion. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Mrs. Uju Kennedy Ohaneye. And at this point, I'm really looking forward to, the unveiling and adorning the girls in a few more minutes. I'd like to call on His Excellency, Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, Honorable Minister FCT, who is ably represented by Mandate Secretary, Women Affairs FCT, Honorable Dayo Benjamin Laniyi. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Please celebrate and let's appreciate Toro Kewale, voice of the woman radio. And everything that she represents is a celebration. She is celebrating how many years now? And that big event was an event that celebrated not just women, but the voice of women. And not just the voice of women, but the voice of women, girl, child, and every institutional framework that empowers women in the place of being heard, but more importantly, in the place of being heard with impact. Once again, we thank everyone, Tom, and everyone who makes the voice of women heard, and now the voice of the Nigerian Governors Forum. Today is truly a significant celebration, not just of what is happening now, but the future, as T.Y. Bello put it in her song, brought into the now. The now is not just a time, the now is a you and me. My name is Dr. Adedayo Benjamin Lani. It is my privilege to stand here today representing His Excellency, the foremost minister of the Federal Capital Territory and the foremost minister of the Renewed Hope Agenda of His Excellency, Mr. President. And I say that because what I am is the first Pioneer Mandate Secretary for Women Affairs in 48 years of the existence of the Federal Capital Territory. Now, it was a deliberate pivot and one that articulated the Renewed Hope Agenda from a place of campaign to a place of activation, giving Her Excellency the First Lady's Renewed Hope Advocacy and Initiative a place of engagement and enactment. The FCT is 884 communities, 62 local government wards, 17 tribal chiefdoms, 6 area councils. It has an architecture which today, represented by Her Royal Highness, Hawa Yunisa Ibrahim, the wife of the paramount ruler of the FCT, the owner of Abuja. Today I want to properly celebrate you and appreciate your being here. Thank you very much, ma'am. But I'm giving you these numbers ahead of my stating the protocols because that is the protocol that brought me here. Thank you and happy International Girl Child Day to everyone here. Celebrate someone next to you who is a mother of a girl one day, who became a woman one day, and a mother eventually that gave birth to who you are. Celebrate the girl child next to you, please. Thank you. And for all you girl children, you say where there's girl power, there is superpower. I celebrate you as a superpower force. Oh, you love it. Say, I am superpower. And you're not just superpower, you are international. Say, I'm international. Yes, you are. Today, I'd like to very properly, once again, acknowledge His Excellency, the chairman of the Governors Forum, here today, of course, represented by none other, the DG of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Dr. Abdul Latif Shitu. We appreciate very much, sir, the invitation and the opportunity here. But His Excellency, the Executive Governor and Chairperson, the Chairman, Abdurrahman Abdurazak, couldn't have chosen a better woman to have married and to carry the expression of his distinction. Please help me appreciate Chairperson of the Nigerian Governors Wives Forum. She's a professor in her estate as a First Lady. She was also ambassador to the United Kingdom. She's a woman of letters, humane psychology, but her impact is in driving the force and advocacy of women in leadership. Yes, Her Excellency, Ambassador Professor Olufola Abdurazak, thank you very much once again for this
distinct platform. I'd also like to appreciate my own minister. You've listened to her, and like she said, her business is not about being a minister. It's not about the Ministry of Women Affairs. It's about Nigerian women and every affair of the Nigerian woman. I celebrate and appreciate Her Excellency, the Barrister Uju Kennedy Ohaneye. And she's here today. She has a very special personality escorting her, her son, Ike. I celebrate you, letting you know that inclusion is part of our expression when it comes to celebrating the girl child. We also celebrate the boy child. All commissioners here present, and as many as are representing their excellencies, executive governors, I welcome you. Already you are specially celebrated, in particular, commissioners of education from the different references of the geopolity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We welcome you, we thank you for your strategic interventions when it comes to domesticating the policy of our national education and international curriculum for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All of the partners and sponsors here present, from the presence of diplomatic and international agencies, the United Nations, AU, ECOWAS, girl child ambassadors, you are absolutely superlative. Again, I celebrate you. Distinguished guests, gentlemen of the press, on behalf of the Federal Capital Territory, we welcome you to a capital of capital projects, where the foremost project of women as a project is a statement that is recapitalizing our base and our impact. As the FCT Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, I would now like to state, education is a cornerstone of personal and societal transformation. For the girl child, particularly, it holds the key to unlocking a brighter future, and quality education empowers girls to break free from the shackles of poverty, inequality, social injustice, becoming agents of change in their communities. It breaks them free from stigma. Why girl child education matters? As a matter of priority, His Excellency, of course, being a former Honorable Minister of State for Education, and he states the following: in breaking the cycle of poverty, educated girls secure better paying jobs, lifting themselves and their families out of poverty, promotes gender equity. Education helps to bridge the gender gap, challenging harmful stereotypes and fostering equal opportunities. I would also like to state that in the place of the girl child education, we improve health and well-being, which is why in the FCT, the girl child education is holistic, driving through all of its cross-cutting references, particularly with health and environment, those frontline interventions for the girl child through empowering her mother, the woman. It fosters leadership and empowerment, building esteem, confidence, and giving girls the power to take charge not just of their lives, but to define lifestyle and livelihood in leadership as they grow forward. It also enhances economic growth by giving a mentality for economic prosperity, catching them young. Where the barriers of sociocultural norms, harmful traditional practices, poverty cycles, economic constraints, a lack of infrastructure, and child marriage play their own part. Within the FCT, it has become paramount that access to quality education, scholarships, financial aid, safe and inclusive learning environment, mentorship and role modeling programs, community engagement, and policy reform have very immediately become the intervention. I would like to state at this point that it will be 1 year in my assignment on the 24th of October. Within 1 month of my being in office, His Excellency approved, and the FCT has the very first national celebration of the FCT Day of the Adolescent Girl Child on the 10th of December. He did this in expression of his investment in the 16 days of activism that became a transformative engagement of 16 days advocacy through the engagement of 310 adolescent girl childs across the 62 wards of the FCT, 5 girls per 62 wards leading to 310, each of those 5 having 5 friends, and each of those 5 friends having 1 friend. In other words, we drive the advocacy of the adolescent girl child in Abuja through a total of approximately 4,000 adolescent girl children at any one given time. Like the Rollback Rethink Malaria program, we have our adolescent girls driving the force of change as the advocacy of the FCT administration. Girls, you have examples. Malala Yousafzai, your Nobel laureate and education activist. Rakia Thomas, the first female African-American principal of a New York high school. And of course, working with the Global Girls Education Fund, you've heard it already, even where it comes to NEL Fund loan, you have your opportunities and we're ready to invest in you. The power of investing in you is the power of making your dreams come true. I would like to conclude where I started by saying that girl power is superpower. Today, I would like to state, I stand here, just like Toun Okewale stated, a proud, all-Nigerian, inspirational, Nigerian-educated girl child. Everything about me was educated from the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Corona School, St. Louis Grammar School, Ibadan, Queen's College, Yaba, Lagos, and the University of Ibadan. Everything about me, including my accent, was not trained in any international exposure. I've never lived outside this country for any length or period of time. My articulation I learned from the television, NTA. You can't beat the rich, and you cannot beat the English that they teach you. I want to encourage every girl. You are your best educator. Homeschooling before every other schooling. Pay attention to the instruction from home. And where they missed it, you can still find it. Because there's a navigator in you that tells you every girl is born good. And you have an ear to hear and know what is good for you and what can and will harm you. Pair yourselves, get the right influence and inspiration. You are the ultimate combination of expression, distinction, and human capital impact. In the assignment I've been given in the Federal Capital Territory, one thing I made certain, this is a startup, it has never existed, was to set up the Adolescent Girls Department. The Adolescent Girl Child Department, because in the trajectory of women and the girl child, the adolescent girl is the most important, the most vulnerable, and the most valuable. She is the dynamic and the demographic. She is the one demographic of female expression, no matter what has happened to her, up until she's a teenager to when she's 20. If you can speak into her life, she will not carry that stigma. She will not carry that trauma. She will become braver than she ever knew she could be. Where a woman gives up later on in life, a girl child you get at that vulnerable point will always believe. How do I know? I worked with them. I'm the Dream Girls convener of 2019. My girls, I said, from Dutse to the United Nations, have become stars at the United Nations. I am a doctor today of humane sciences because of what the Dutse girls have become and continue to become. My message, therefore, is what I told them then, and I'll tell you now. We just had, through the instrumentality of the investment of the Honorable Minister, STEAM camps that ran for 5 weeks in the Federal Capital Territory, Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. The convener, Professor Hawa Ibrahim, a professor from the University of Rome and from Harvard, was Tale, a tomato, she was selling a hawker, thank you, a girl child hawker in Gombe State. An expatriate working in Gombe State saw her, fell in love with her, courted her and married her. She was completely illiterate. She did not speak English. She's a professor of Harvard and Rome. Well, don't let me go through that. Just this summer, we had her coming with her students who paid their way to come to Nigeria and invest in indigent children across 5 communities in the Federal Capital Territory. 250 indigent children were invested in. Some of them were orphans, because I made sure the orphans were there, and they were children from vulnerable homes. The most unfortunate experience was when I took them to a privileged school where the children could not appreciate what the investment was about. That is a failure on our part as parents who raise children with privileges, not understanding what it is to invest in humanity. Well, her students have gone back, but they created 2,000 and something students in science, technology, engineering, art, and math, who, along with the Hakimis and the mothers of the different communities, are now, through peer sharing, carrying on the educational formulas that were taught to them. I'm going to end simply by saying this. Girls, what did I tell you? A girl power is what? So as girls, you are a gift, number one. Number two, you are inspirational. Number three, you represent the future, F. And T, when it comes to you, you are the testament of our personal truth. If we're a government who is lying, who is speaking truth, everyone will know. Finally, super. You are super. You're special, and you are superlative. You are you, unique, because there's no one like you. You are P, powerful and profound, because the words you speak are words that absolutely celebrate you. You are E, not just our expression, but you are exceptional. And everything about you, even if nobody accepts you, never forget this, that's who you are. You are born exceptional. And finally, P, you're precious and you are perfect. Doesn't matter your color, your age, your stage. Everything about you is distinct about you. Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, finds you so special that she has set up what is called the Alternative Girl Child School Curriculum just for you, working with the Universal Basic Education to set up in every state, and including the FCT, a program. If you missed it, we're going to bring it to you, or someone around you who missed it too. On behalf of the Federal Capital Territory, His Excellency, the Honorable Minister, Mr. Project, Barrister Nyesom Wike, and our mandate team, I'd like to tell you, as we say it by the force of the Women Affairs Secretariat, we are ready. Thank you. Women Affairs Secretariat, you are still sitting down.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, Honorable Minister, FCT, represented by Mandate Secretary, Women Affairs, FCT, Honorable Dio Benjamin Lani. Today, again, I say is a very special day, Friday, 11th of October, International Day of the Girl Child. At this point in time, I would like, time for us to unveil, I would like to call on Brigadier General Yusha Dogara Ahmed, Director General, National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, who is going to help us unveil. And Honorable Minister, Women Affairs, Barrister Mrs. Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, we need you to come here as well. Her Excellency, Ambassador Olufolake Abdul Razak, First Lady Kwara State, and Chairperson Nigeria Governor Spouses Forum, we would like to have you here as well. And Mandate Secretary, Women Affairs, FCT, Honorable Dio Benjamin Lani, we want you here. Honorable Minister, Women Affairs, you're going to adorn the First Lady of Kwara State. You adorn her with a sash. You put the sash, yes. You hug her, you adorn, you put the sash on her, you put the lapel on her, and she will do the same thing for you, okay? And the with the lapel. Ma, and you are going to help us unveil the Girl Child Education Ambassador. So right now what we're having is the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs adorning the First Lady, Kwara State, and Chairperson, Nigeria Governor Spouses Forum, Her Excellency Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdulrahman. With the sash and the
I
lapel.
hereby decorate her. Let me use the English that I'm very sure of. Sorry. I hereby decorate her. Thank you. Okay. I'm hereby decorate Her Excellency, the First Lady of Kwara State, as Girl Child Education Ambassador, Nigeria. This is second ambassadorial post. I did that with a lot of love. That was what I said. So am I people giving this? So where do I put this?
And now we have Her Excellency Ambassador Olufolake Abdul-Razak, as you will put the sash on the Honorable Minister.
Sorry, there's an important announcement.
Please, I want this young girl, Ololade Ogunubi, to present this herself. Let her shine her shine, because she wrote the book. Come.
Okay, this is the Girl Child Education Ambassador Guidebook, so we'll be giving it to you.
Ololade, thank you very much for putting this together. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing this. Honorable Minister, thank you for shining her light. Thank you. And now we call on the First Lady Kwara State and Chairperson Nigeria Governor Spouses Forum, Her Excellency Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdul-Razak, to now put the sash on the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, and then you also use the lapel on her. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I hereby also decorate the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju Kennedy Ohane, with this sash and confer on her Ambassador of the Girl Child Education, Nigeria.
This is a lot of love happening here, and the women here are representing, history. History is being made here today. Thank you for acknowledging them. Thank you. Her Excellency, Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdul-Razak, I would need you to do the same for the Mandate Secretary, Women Affairs FCT, Honorable Dayo Benjamin Lani. Thank you.
Mandate Secretary FCT, I'm honored to hereby adorn you with the sash. I think she likes the word adorn, so let's use adorn for her. Adorn you with the Girl Child Education Ambassadorial Sash. Congratulations.
And at this point in time, the youth corps members that are here, that are girl ambassadors, girl child ambassadors, we need you to quickly come up here. Only those who are girl child ambassadors. Please be swift. Be swift. This is a beautiful opportunity for you all to be sharing the same stage. history, as I said, is being made here today. This conference is just the beginning of, and our three, Ololade, well done. She wrote the book. She wrote that book, Girl Child. Thank you very much. Please, you give her the microphone, please. Thank you.
Okay, she did.
Yes, she's there. Ashezi, right? Ashezi, we need you up here. Quick, Ashezi. Where are you? Where is Ashezi? Because it's your day today. All the girls, it is your day today. Can somebody call her? Ashezi, can you run? Quick. Thank you. No, ma, because you're going to help us adorn them. Did you want to see? Okay. All right. So at this point in time, our His Excellency Ambassador Olu Folake Abdul Razak, the Honorable Minister, and the Mandate Secretary. And the Mandate Secretary, we need you all, the three of you, to please specially put the sashes on our girl child ambassadors and to also give them the lapels. They are here. These are the girl child ambassadors representing every girl in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All of them represent all our girls. Please let's put our hands together for the ambassadors. Should they come here? Rivers State. Imo State. This is Imo. Ma, take Gombe. Come and do Gombe. Delta State. Cross River. Where's Cross River? Another one. Oyo State. Osun State. Please be swift, ladies. Which state are you? Oyo State. Where is Osun State? That's Osun. Ogun State. Ogun State. I'll do Ogun because I'm from Ogun State. I'm a girl. Plateau State. Plateau State. Take one. Bauchi. Bayelsa. Quick now. Which state are you? Bauchi. Bayelsa. Benue. Benue. Borno. Borno is not here. Kogi. Borno. Ekiti State. Edo State. Ebonyi State. Ebonyi, Enugu. Ebonyi State. Not here. Enugu State. Borno State. Ogun State. Not here. Zamfara. Where are you? Zamfara, Enugu, Zamfara, Ebonyi, FCT, Borno, Ondo State, Niger State, Nasarawa, Yobe, Lagos State, Lagos State, Katsina State, we call it. Anambra, Anambra, Adamawa, Adamawa, Abia, Jigawa, Sokoto, Sokoto, Taraba, KB, Kaduna, KB, Kwara State, KB. Oh, stay behind, madam. There. Kaduna. I never knew then what losing your Kwara. Ask for anything, I'll give it to you gladly. Cross River. And you must believe that. If you're hurt, I'm hurting too. Kano State. And I'm thinking about your love. If you need someone to care, I'll be there. You should know I'll never change. Are we done? Cause I'm thinking about your Ogun love. State. Tonight, can I do Ogun? Where is Ogun? Thinking about you. And Lagos. Don't Lagos. Ogun. I'll call you all over again. Ogun State. Till I hold you in my Borno State. Sokoto. Anambra. Abia. Adamawa. Taraba. Zamfara. Enugu. Where are you? Ebonyi. Thinking about your love. If you need someone to care, I'll be there. You should know I'll never change. Cause I'm thinking about your love. Tonight, today, and always. What you feel I'm still for you. Thinking about your love. I'll be counting on the day. Once again, we thank you all for adorning the ladies, the young girls. It's their special day today, International Day of the Girl Child. We would like to have you take a lovely photograph with our First Lady and the Honorable Commissioner for Honorable Minister and the Mandate Secretary. We'd like you to take photographs with them. And Madam, you have your speech. And the Brigadier General Yusha Dogara of NYSC. Hold on, let her go in the front. Everything was done, oh yeah, yeah. All of a sudden, on came the lights, and everything was feeling right. People started dancing. We're taking the photographs. I would like to acknowledge the arrival and presence of the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Youth Development, Honorable Ayodele Olawande. Honorable Olawande, can we? Thank you very much. The DG, Alhaji Shitu, we need you to come up here. Alhaji Shitu, please join us in the photo session. We would also like to call one of our sponsors, Rivers State Governor. Thank you very much. Please join us. Kano, please join us. Lagos State, please join us. And Enugu, please join us for the photo session. Thank you very much. Wando Foundation. This is a time that we need you here. J-Power Africa, all our partners. This is a time, this is why you came to the Federal Capital Territory. All our partners, please join us now. Platform, we need you here. Agile, we need you here. Honorable commissioners, this is your day. Your girls are here. Please join us here. This is the moment. History is being made here today. Thank you. This is a beautiful moment for us. It's a beautiful moment for every Nigerian girl child. It's your day, and every year we will do this. We will come back. We will harness. So we would still have to take these photographs in batches. If you know that your face is not showing, just stay behind. We will take it in batches. The technical team, the technical crew, we need you here. Yes. All commissioners of education, we hope you have taken your photographs. Thank you. Once you have taken your shot or photograph, can you go back to your seat? Can we all go back to our seats, please? I quickly need to call on Brigadier General Yusha Dogara Ahmed, Director General, National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, ably represented by the Deputy Director, Community Development Service, Mrs. Mercy Bamai, for your message, because today is a special day for you. Your girls have been adorned. They're representing every girl child in Nigeria, and we would like to have your comments. Thank you very much, ma.
Can we go back to our seats as we take the last message?
Don't make me over. Now that you know how I adore you.
Can we go back to our seats?
Your Excellencies, highly esteemed participants, I am representing the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Y.D. Ahmed. He has asked me to represent him, and I have his remarks here to read. Thank you. Remarks by the Director General, NYSC, Brigadier General Y.D. Ahmed, DSS, FDC, FNLI, FCLML, Member, Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, MENAC, PhD, at the International Conference on the Girl Child Education Volunteers Advocates, held in the Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja on Friday, 11th October 2024. It is my pleasure to be part of this important event aimed at promoting the education of the girl child in Nigeria. Let me begin by commending the organizers of this initiative. I also thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this discourse, which is germane to our national development. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is no gainsaying the fact that education is a fundamental human right as well as a key instrument of empowerment and development. It is the key to unlocking the full potentials of every individual, irrespective of gender. However, it is a known fact that many girls around the world, including our own country, face barriers to accessing education. For instance, a 2022 UNICEF report indicated the 7.6 million girls were out of school in Nigeria. This is indeed a matter of serious concern. We must provide the girl child with the same educational opportunities as boys, among other steps. Identifying their peculiar challenges and tackling them frontally. In particular, cultural, environmental, and economic barriers to equal educational opportunities must be removed to enable them attain their full potentials. Despite the efforts of governments at all levels and other stakeholders towards ensuring better access to education for all children, including girls, through initiatives such as the free and compulsory universal basic education and the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, AGILE. The challenges surrounding girl-child education remain daunting. Therefore, all hands must be on deck to address the problem. It needs no stressing that investing in girls' education will go a long way in shaping their future and the future of our country. An educated girl will grow to be an empowered woman that will in turn be a key role player in the nation's socio-economic development.
At this juncture, I wish to reaffirm the commitment of the National Youth Service Corps to supporting initiatives that promote girl-child education. Accordingly, our Community Development Service (CDS) program remains a veritable platform for corps members to engage in projects that address the educational needs of girls, especially in rural communities. Already, we are in partnership with Mercy Corps International on the implementation of a program tagged Educating Nigerian Girls in New Enterprises engine, which empowers adolescent girls by providing them with educational opportunities and skills development. Through the program, female corps members give extra classes and serve as role models to girls in selected schools in Kaduna, Kano, and Lagos states, as well as the Federal Capital Territory. The NYSC also collaborates with the Girl-Child Concerns. The Department for International Development, DFID, Coca-Cola Export Company, and Nike Foundation to empower girls through education and skills development. I would like to use this opportunity to call on all stakeholders, including government agencies, civil society organizations, private sector entities, and individuals to increase the tempo of commitment to the provision of access to quality education for the girl child. We must work together to pull down the barriers that prevent girls from attaining their full potentials. On a final note, I wish to give this parting reminder that educating the girl child is not only a moral obligation, but also a strategic investment in the future of our dear country. Let us give every girl the opportunity to learn, develop, and succeed. Thank you for listening, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Brigadier General Yusha Dogara Ahmed, Director General, National Youth Service Corps. Thank you very much, Madam. At this point in time, I would like to call on His Excellency Abdulrahman Abdul Razak, Executive Governor of Kwara State and the Chairman, Nigeria Governors Forum, who is ably represented by the Director General, Nigeria Governors Forum, Alhaji Abdul Latif Shitu. Please put your, they are the ones, oh, he's the one, they brought us here, oh. They brought us here, they are doing this for Nigerian girl child, oh. Thank you very much, sir. At this point, we want to also unveil the Education Expenditure and Institutional Review, EEIR report for the state on the Girl Child Education Funding Declaration. So you give us your short remarks and then you unveil that. When he's about to unveil, every commissioner of education in every state of Nigeria, we would like you to come here and do this with him. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's been a long day. I'd like to again thank all the participants who are here and all the distinguished guests who are present here. I'd like to recognize the Mandate Secretary, somebody whom I've known for a long time, and she has a lot of passion and energy on issues relating to women, gender, and I'm not surprised also issues relating to the girl child. let me just, because today is Friday and we're running out of time, I mean, for a number of us who want to go for prayer sessions. Let me use this opportunity to thank our esteemed guests and participants for finding time to actively participate at this international conference on girl-child education in Nigeria, aimed at addressing challenges in the educational sector through the education community of practice framework led by the Nigerian Governors Forum and partners. Presentations on addressing Nigerian educational challenges using the DOTS strategy framework, quality education through evidence-based data gathering and generation, roles of subnational governments in Nigeria, and education financing and intervention in Nigeria, resetting the dynamics through review of the UB Act 2004, among others, were presented for stakeholders' engagement to address the challenges in the education sector in the country. We also had a robust engagement on girl-child education intervention strategies, national and subnational partnership for quality and inclusive skills development in the states. The Nigerian Governors Forum will work with the Federal Minister of Education, development partners, civil society to implement the education roadmap of the federal government to address equity and equality challenges in the school system in the states. We are hopeful that this will address quality and inclusive skills development through national and subnational partnership. Today we have had the excellent intervention by development partners in the education sector in Nigeria. I thank Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who for some reason cannot be here today. And then, and the, again, First Lady of Kwara State and the Minister for Minister for Women Affairs, who have, graced the occasion. The unveiling of the Girl Education Ambassadors today is pivotal in our collective drive to address issues of access to education and learning poverty of our children. Through their collective efforts and in partnership with the Gender Desk officers of the National Youth Service Corps, NGL will engage over 774,000 girl child education volunteers advocates across the 774 local government areas annually for access and quality education advocacy project. We are in partnership with Federal Minister of Youth through the National Youth Service Corps to establish a girl child education community service group, which will form an integral part of our education community of practice aimed at addressing out-of-school children challenges through primary school enrollment drive, foundational literacy and numeracy, teachers' capacity training, and school support system. We are pleased to present to the public our educational expenditure and institutional review report 2021 to 2022 to 2023 for the states. Our commitment as a forum to education financing, especially our girl child education funding, is unwavering across the states. We declare our readiness to meeting international benchmarks of at least 15% annual budgetary allocation to the education sector. We are committed to having a vision for education community of practice, intervention, framework for enrollment advocacy, funding support and quality education scale up through the provision of infrastructure and infrastructural materials in the school system and ensuring that our kids are in school and learning through experiential and digital literacy, knowledge, and skills acquisition. I thank you once again for your active participation. The outcome of this conference will be implemented by the states to ensure access and inclusive quality education for our children. I wish you all fruitful deliberation and journey mercies as you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the DG Nigeria Governors Forum, Dr. Abdul Latif Shitu, who is representing His Excellency Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, Executive Governor of Kwara State and Chairman, Nigeria Governors Forum. At this point in time, sir, we need to unveil the EEIR report. If you step down there, we want every Commissioner for Education to join us here. Every Commissioner for Education, please join the DG to unveil the Education Expenditure and Institutional Review Report for your state. While this is being unveiled, this is just to let you know that immediately after this we will go for lunch. And I don't want you to forget that at 8 p.m. there is also dinner at the exclusive Serene Hotel. I understand that after lunch, every Commissioner of Education, after lunch, you need to come back here for your AGM. You need to come back here after lunch for your AGM. Nigeria is a great nation with our different tribes and our diverse tongues. We will continue to stand, counting our gains, and to commit to build a Nigeria where every girl child has access to quality education. If we can take this away with us, that educated girls make informed choices about their health, about their relationships, about their life. And that is why it is important that we all commit to ensure that every Nigerian girl child around us is educated. I would like to call. Are you done, sir?
So as we raise up this beautiful resource document, the Education Sector Expenditure and Institutional Review, a state-level report, and I'm sure a number of you and all the stakeholders here will find it very resourceful and useful. It's a document that's well researched, and it's an evidence-based document. So as we unveil today, we on behalf of the Nigerian Governors Forum, and then a number of our stakeholders are here today, the commissioners and other stakeholders. We unveil this document, and and the spirit of the girl-child education and growth and development in the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, the DG NGF. That is a formal unveiling of the EEIR report. So, this man did not want us to call him, but I feel that he is the coordinator of the last 2 days, yesterday and today. Again, in case we are forgetting, it is the 2024 International Day of the Girl Child, today, Friday, 11th of October, 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me acknowledge Dr. Leo Ebenezer, the Head Education Unit, Nigeria Governors Forum. He put the last 2 days together. I know you do not want to talk, but you have to say something, Dr. Leo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so grateful. I'm so overwhelmed with the participants and the level of confidence we had for the Nigerian people, especially the girl child. I am so passionate about the girl child because my mother, for 11 consecutive times, was looking for a girl and had 11 boys. And I've also joined my father looking for a girl and had 3 boys. So my mother and my wife and all the girl child and women whom my mother had for so many years looked for just one have now been my mothers, my sisters, and my children. That is where the passion came from. So I can assure you that my efforts, through the support of the Director General and the Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, is geared toward making sure that every girl child in the country has access to basic and quality education. And at the same time, in the context of inclusion, every boy child has access to basic and inclusive education. So what we're trying to establish is what we call an education community of practice, where every community, every stakeholder is integrated into a framework where everybody understands the importance of every boy child, girl child, having access to education and having quality education that will make him or her have the opportunity to have a better life. I want to thank the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum. I want to thank the DG who is here, my boss, for your confidence, for what you've been able to do at the forum. I want to thank development partners, especially UNESCO, UNICEF, World Bank, JPA Africa, all those who've been very supportive, my colleagues. I want to also thank my partners that came, FCDO, UNESCO, World Bank, and the major ones, the River State government who came to my rescue because I'm from River State, and they did excellently well, and they provided the basic support I needed to host the conference. I want to thank Platinum Petroleum, World Bank, my key sponsors and partners, and all our partners. I can't forget JPA Africa for what you've done. You have to fly all the way from South Africa to support me and to give me not just the financial support, but the moral and what I say, the educational support. Thank you, the lead. And all other partners, I must confirm. I also want to thank the Ministry of Education that has been so supportive with me, and the Ministry of Youth, the Ministry of Women Affairs, and the Technical Working Group. In fact, those who are within the Technical Working Group, if you're here, please stand up. Technical Working Group of the Girl Child Education Conference. We did the inauguration on the 26th of March, 2024, and for the past 6 months, we've been planning for this conference. All my colleagues at the Technical Working Group and the co-chair, Aja Amina, I really appreciate you. You've always been there. And all of us, I thank you very much. Thank you very much. I thank the partners, but I have to also thank the participants. I want to thank the Girl Child Education Ambassadors from the respective states who, despite the very short notice, you made it to Abuja. Thank you very much. And my students, our students, the Nigerian present and future generation, who when I called, they just came in. I want to thank you for coming in to celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child. Finally, I thank the Nigerian Governors Forum for giving us the platform, and all those who have called to join us today who honored our invitation. Thank you very much. May God grant you safe trip back to your favorite destinations. Thank you. And lastly, I want to thank the Honorable Commissioners of Education in all the states of the Federation, from the chairman of COSEN to all the commissioners who also provided the office the opportunity to host the Secretariat of the States Commissioners of Education in Nigeria, Committee of State Commissioners of Education, and who we've been coordinating and working with the Ministry of Education, development partners to see how our central coordination framework within the NGF to support subnational government is strong, active, and potent to be able to have the needed funds and support to address the challenges of the education sector at the subnational level. Honorable Commissioners, my bosses, thank you very much for finding time to come to Abuja and for being present in spite of the NC meeting yesterday. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nigeria. Thank you.
So we call him Dr. Leo the Great. Indeed, you were great. Thank you. Please put your hands together for him again.
At this point, we've come to an end of 2 eventful days. Thank you all for joining us for the maiden edition of the International Conference on Girl-Child Education in Nigeria. We are grateful for your active participation throughout this event. We hope you are inspired, we hope you are equipped, and you're going back to make impact.
Your name.
My name remains Dr. Chineku Ore, and I'm glad to have been a part of this event.
On behalf of Jimin Victoria, who has been standing here for 2 days, thank you. For me, I want to thank the Nigerian Governors Forum. It's a forum made up of 36 male governors, and they believed in the girl-child education, and that is why we are here today. Sir, please let them know that we are very grateful. And for every he, for she, every man that is seated here and represented here, thank you for taking care of every female in your community, from your wives to your daughters, to your mothers, to your nieces. We thank you for everything you have done. You know, we all have a duty to build a Nigeria where every girl child has access to education. My commitment is that we will use the Women Radio 91.7 FM platform to support anybody that is doing everything for the Nigerian girl child. Hit us up at WFM 917 on all platforms. If you have something positive you're doing to impact, to develop, to educate, to empower, and inspire the Nigerian girl child, we will give you that platform to do what you want to do. I am humbled, I am honored, I am happy to have served you. I remain Tongu Okewale Shonaya, a very proud, unapologetic Nigerian. Thank you, and may God bless Nigeria. Okay. Please go ahead.
All right, so we are breaking for lunch now. I'm sure you're very excited about that. So the students, the corps members, the ambassadors, you can make your way to the exhibition stand where you're going to have your lunch just like yesterday. For every other guest, please make your way right behind this demarcation to have your lunch. Thank you very much. And for the VVIPs, you are going to be ushered to where you'll have your lunch as well. Thank you.
The mosaic of time in the kaleidoscope of life. Time is a masterpiece. A delicate piece when we wait.